Coach, whenever you're ready.
Was proud of the way we finished that last 4 minutes, or last couple minutes in particular, getting stops, making them miss. Trayson had a big block. Jaden did a good job crashing down and got stops, and Amir kind of finished it the right way, and that's what you're looking for. As far as the game, I felt like our defensive intensity was pretty good throughout the entire game. We were able to turn them over. They came in a low turnover team. They had done a really good job of taking care of the ball, and we were able to force some turnovers. I think the byproduct of that is, like, when you are being really aggressive, maybe you can give up, some back cuts and kick out threes. And they made some tough shots. I mean, Phillips and Williams, that's what they've done all year long. They came in, averaged about 19 or 18 apiece. And in the first half, kind of had some busted plays at the end of clocks where we guarded pretty well, and just a ball got squirted out of there. And that was probably the biggest disappointment for me personally of the game, was just our inability to kind of make some physical plays and come up with some of those loose balls. But 19 assists on 29 field goals, had opportunities for a few more. And, all in all, wasn't perfect, but we're still improving, and we'll take it.
Questions, please.
For us, the gravity you've talked about with Honor, does that open things up for someone like DJ tonight?
Yeah, and again, every team's going to play you a little different, and we knew going into this game that they were going to zone some, and then they had double-teamed the post. And so we figured with them deciding, hey, we're going to double-team Harlan, probably we're going to double-team Belo. That's the play that Honor got the first shot of the game on, was out of the double team. Those guys are such good passers, and I thought our spacing was good on that, and those guys did a good job of executing it, and DJ got to his spots where he needed to be, and he was, he was the recipient of some really good passes. I mean, if you looked at, Belo had 4 assists, 1 turnover, Harlan 2, Jasper 6, Amir 5. So he found himself in good position and finished and left a couple more on the table. He probably wish he could have finished those as well.
Ross, on that note about DJ, just it's a skill. I mean, he gets to where he's comfortable, but he gets on people's view too, where
Yes.
I'm open. Something innate with him, or is he picked up?
He's got a great feel, man. Yeah, he's got a great feel. Again, played for a really good high school program, Allen High School down there in Texas. Coach Sipp, Coach Blakely, and he's got a great feel. He's really mature, man. He's a good listener, and listening is a skill. It really is. Just like running fast and jumping high, like the ability to listen to what your coach is asking you to do, and then have the ability to go execute that. And like you said, sometimes the difference between getting a wide open layup and having a turnover is just getting to where you're supposed to get to. So, he's getting better defensively as well. And he's just he was really the recipient of some good passing tonight, I thought, from our team.
Going off of that gravity that Honor brings, he tonight was one three-pointer shy of the single-game record. What does he bring to the table, even with that double team all in his face?
He has the ability to get on a roll and start making tough shots, which he did tonight. He made some really, really difficult shots late in the clock. The one right before the half was a big momentum shot, and he's still getting better, man. He's getting better defensively. He can still make some better decisions, with the ball. No assists, 3 turnovers. Set it out there. Maybe he should just shoot it instead of trying to pass it.
Ross, none of your first 5 opponents have had more assists than turnovers in a game. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, typically we're a low assist defense. I mean, 14 assists is a big number for them. Fortunately, we were able to balance it with 19. But there's just that fine line of, keeping the ball in front of you when you are getting beat, being able to funnel it where your help is. And so even when you are in rotations, in theory, you should be able to give up. You shouldn't give up catch and shoot threes, but we were just a tad bit late on a couple of them today. And to their credit, they jumped up and made them.
Made some tough ones.
Coach, you shot a very high volume of threes in the first half with 16, only 4 in the second half. Was the idea to try to outshoot them at the beginning, or did you like the...
No, I think that was just the way the game opened up for us. Again, we knew they were going to double. We knew they were going to double us when we threw it inside, and so we got to our spacing, and we had some really, really good looks that just didn't go down, And I think in the second half they may have tried to make some adjustments to their double team spacing, and I think that's where you saw them staying more connected to the perimeter, and we were able to throw of the more interior passes for layups, where in the first half they were collapsing down. We were able to throw it out and got good looks.
Ross, you obviously want to have your whole team, but how critical was this 5-game stretch, just being able to get these guys minutes and get them some experience together?
Yeah, I mean, when you got a brand new group that's never played together and playing a couple freshmen, and yeah, like I said, like we knew it wasn't always just going to be a work of art, and knew we were going to have to grind through some games and try to find ways to win them. And fortunately for us, they were at home. We got an incredible home court advantage, as we all know. I want to thank our students again for showing up. They've been incredibly consistent, throughout this 5-game stretch. Know it's hard, these midweek games, for some of our fans to get here, and they really carry the load for us in these home games. And we did what we were supposed to do. You got to take care of home court.
Coach, you obviously know Honor and his stats, his reputation for a three-point shooter. At some point, though, like when he's taking those 26, 28-footers, does that make you nervous as a coach?
No, I see it every day. If I didn't see it in practice, it would make me nervous. If I didn't see it from June 1st until now, every time we practice, if I didn't see him making those shots, you would be nervous. Because typically, and again, I mean, I've been doing this a little while, not crazy long time, but in my experience, whatever happens in practice typically happens in the games for the most part. You'll have some game slippage, and the game can break you down a little bit at times, but he does it in practice. He makes tough shots. He makes tough shots in practice. He works incredibly hard on his game, as do the rest of the guys. And so, there's a comfort when he shoots it. I think it's going in. I'm surprised when it doesn't go in.
Ross, now that you do get him back, what does Chance bring to the team?
Yeah, he brings another physical downhill presence. He's a good rebounder. He's got good size. He gives you some defensive versatility. You can play bigger, so you can play him like at the 3 with your 2 forwards, or when you go smaller. So like right now when we've had to go smaller, we've had to play Morris at the 4. And so it just gives you a little more size when you go small ball. And then, he's not as an elite of an athlete as like Belo is, but he's another high-end athlete. And he gets long rebounds. He's a bull in transition, and just gives you another like downhill paint presence.
With DJ's 25 tonight, this is 5 games with 5 different leading scorers. Like, what's that say about just the balance of your guys' offense?
Yeah, I think it says a lot about the character of our guys and how unselfish they are and how committed they are to making the right play. And we've got good depth. We've got good players, and like I said, that's the way we're going to be. It's going to be different people every night, and a lot of it has to do with how our opponents are playing us. And again, it's like it's easy to, I was talking about this on the radio in the pregame. I think it's easy at times to look at these guys and be like, well, why isn't he playing as well as he should? And I mentioned it on the radio. I mean, we had this gym's been here for a long time, and in the brawl, that was the largest margin of victory that WVU has had. And some of it's like, well, what's wrong with him? And it's like, well, him being whoever, what player, Eagle staff, or like, well, he's being a great teammate. He's trying really hard on defense. He's celebrating his teammates on the bench, and we just won by 22. So on the flip side, if you're a coach or a fan or people in our society nowadays, we complain about these guys all the time, right? Kids are selfish. They only care about themselves. They want to get paid. They only want stats. And so, well, which one is it? You know what I mean? And so, because the goal is to win. That is the ultimate goal. That's why you play team sports. Now, if it's an individual sport, you can go play golf. You can go play tennis, singles tennis, not even doubles. Singles. And then it can just be all about you. So back to the original question, again, I think that just speaks to the level of connectivity that our guys have. They are unselfish. They know it can be different people, different night. And they know that we can get a lot better as individuals, as a team. I can coach this group a lot better, and we're still learning. We're going to be, it's going to be far. We're not going to, and we may not even ever be a finished product. I don't know. You may run out of time. That's the problem when you get brand new teams. You literally just run out of time with your group.
What kind of team do you think you have to travel with, and what kind of road team will this be?
We're about to find out. We're about to find out. Typically, if you can defend and you can rebound, you can fare well on the road. I think I think our guys are excited for that challenge. I don't know if we're, like I said, time will tell if we're ready to go actually win the game, but I think we're ready for that next part. You've kind of checked off these little boxes along the way, and now the next box you got to go check is you got to see if you can take your game, what you do on a daily basis in practice, and can you put it in suitcases and go on a neutral floor and play against a really good team, NCAA tournament team, and you get to find out.
So apologies for this question about stats after that last comment.
It's all good.
Did you know Honor was one short? And if you did know that, would you have put him back in?
I didn't know that. Probably not at that point in time. If I had known that, maybe I wouldn't have took him out. But once you kind of took him out, and then you just like, you start, in my opinion, you kind of start playing a risky game. If you'd have just left them in, like we left Trey in, we left Mo in, we let when you leave them in, but when you take them out, and then if you throw them back in that situation, it's like, as a coach, you wouldn't be able to live with yourself if you did something like that for a stat and he sprained an ankle.
Ross, are you trying to microwave something at the end there? Just put different guys in and see what they could do to finish the game, and
not necessarily. AB is out right now. He kind of banged his knee, and so we don't have anybody else to put in the game. So it's like you kind of had to play DJ and Amir and Mo and Trey, and we talked about putting Niall in our walk on, but I just wanted to finish the game the right way. And I thought that group that went out there, they finished it with stops. Trey had a big block. I mentioned that already. We were able to get downhill, get some fouls, get some finishes, and really wanted to finish it the right way.
And then I understand what you're saying with Chance, gives you another this, that, but do you have somebody like him in the backcourt right now?
Not really. No, he's a different player than what we have. Jasper, is kind of like a methodical, physical driver of the basketball. He can get in some spots. Amir obviously can get downhill, but in that kind of wing perimeter, Trey's a shooter, shooter scorer, Honor's a shooter, Mo's a shooter. It just gives you one more guy that can drive a closeout, take one bounce, and literally be at the rim or at the basket.
Coach, Honor was saying after the players' press conference, he kind of leaned over to DJ and said, "Man, this is the most I've ever heard you say anything." So I'm assuming he's a pretty quiet guy. freshman, right?
Yeah.
So he's still trying to. But obviously, a game like this, what does that do for someone who's, kind of maybe in that?
Yeah. He has such an even keeled personality, and his mom's an awesome lady. I mentioned this. She was a military veteran, and she's got a great presence in his life, and he really is he's an even keel person, and I wouldn't anticipate this changing him at all. And at some point in time, somebody's going to have to be able to string two good games together. We keep talking about we've had a different leading scorer. It's because usually the guy that played really well comes out and freaking. But no, again, I appreciate the way our guys play the game. They play the game to win, and they play the game the right way. And like I said, DJ was really on the receiving end, and his defense has gotten a lot better. 44 is a good player for them, the young freshman, and we tried hard not to let him catch the ball down deep, and he had really put it on some people earlier this year, and I thought DJ did a great job of not letting him catch it deep.
Now that you hit the road for the first time, especially against another power opponent, is there some things that you think you might learn about your team that you don't already know, maybe being on the road for the first time?
Yeah, absolutely. Every day's a learning experience with this team, and so like I said, this is kind of the next checkpoint in our season, the next little chapter in the book, as you would say. And like I said, I think we're excited for it, and we're gonna have to play well. You're playing a great team, great coach, and it's a great field down there. So yeah, we'll learn. I think we've learned more and more every time out. I feel like we've learned a little bit more. I've learned a little bit more, and these experiences only make us better. And even in the midst of some frustrating times or some stretches of not great play, and you learn a lot about yourself. So we've learned a lot, and now we'll get to, like I said, you get a chance to go see if you can, go do what you ultimately want to do. If you get to the NCAA tournament, you got to go beat a good team on a neutral floor.
Coach, out of curiosity, there's so many of these MTEs, spread all around the country. Do you have like a dream one that you would like to coach in one day?
That's a good question. Not like a dream one. I mean, going to the Maui Invitational would be pretty cool. I mean, that would probably be minus the 13-hour flight over there. I mean, maybe we could do a time warp or something like that. But that would probably be it, because growing up as a college basketball fan, those games are on. They're on late. That's what you love about it. Like, those games going to like 2 o'clock in the morning, probably like 4 o'clock in the morning in East Coast time. And just those soft rims that are bouncing around and everybody's slipping because of the humidity. And that would probably be like, this is a great one too that we're going to this weekend. I had the opportunity to go there 2 years ago. When we were at North Texas and played against St. John's in the first round, missed a 15-footer to win the game, and it was a great field. Then it was St. John's and Houston and Dayton and Towson and LSU and Wake Forest. So that was 3 games back then. It's just 2. So this will be a great venue as well.
Now you get to wear the funky shirts.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that, but I wouldn't do that, but.
Coach, everybody's looking forward to Clemson, but if you kind of take a step back, your 5-0 start ties the best start for a first-year head coach since 1954. Is that something that you kind of relish on, or is it just on to Clemson and not think about it?
Yeah, I haven't thought about it a ton. I did see it the other day, and, again, I think it ties into a few things. Like, we got a good staff that put a really good schedule together. We were at home, all 5 of them. But they put a good group of players together, and I did look. It doesn't go back. Ken Palm doesn't go back far enough, and I didn't. Like, I could have asked Mess, but I didn't. So I don't know like Coach Catlett's first season, but I know Coach Beeline lost to Duquesne on the road in his second game, and then when Coach Huggins came, I think it was the third game, they lost to Tennessee on maybe a neutral floor. Jersey. Yeah. So, I mean, I think there's some variance in that, you know what I mean? So, but it's anytime you're kind of look back on it, I'm sure at some point in time you'll look back on it and be pretty cool, but obviously you're just trying to beat Lafayette tonight and then have some good treatment tomorrow and have a good practice on Wednesday and get on the flight and go to Charleston.
Coach, thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thanks.